My child, I came to you today because the hour has arrived. Not the hour you imagined, not the moment you kept trying to manufacture with your own strength, but the one I ordained before the foundations of the earth were set. I have been watching you. I have seen how you held on when everything around you began to unravel. I have witnessed the nights when doubt crept in like a cold wind, when you wondered if I had forgotten your name, if your prayers were rising to an empty ceiling. But I tell you now, with all the certainty of my eternal nature, I have not forgotten you. I never did. Every word you whispered in those quiet, aching hours reached me. Every tear that fell in the dark, I saw it. I was there, closer than you knew. This is not just another message passing through your ears. What I am speaking to you right now is a word of activation. The waiting season is ending. I know you have wondered if it would ever close, if you would always be the one standing at the edge of the promise, looking at what others seemed to receive while your hands stayed empty. But understand this truth. The time between the promise and its fulfillment was never wasted. Every day of that waiting was working something in you that could not have been built any faster. I need you to hear me clearly on this. The door standing before you right now is not a small door. It does not lead to a minor improvement or a slight adjustment. It is a passage between the life you have known and the life I always intended for you. And it is open. I have opened it. My hand is on it, and no power can close what I have decreed to stay wide for you in this hour. What I open, no one shuts. What I decree, no voice can silence. This door leads to something real, something lasting, something that will touch every area of your existence from the inside out. You have carried things that were never yours to carry. You picked them up along the way because that is who you are. You feel responsible. You love deeply, and so you bear the weight of others alongside your own. But I am telling you today to put those weights down, not because you have failed, not because you are weak, but because you were designed to walk forward, not to remain bent beneath a load that belongs to me. I do not call you to this new season with your arms full of yesterday. I call you with open hands, ready to receive what is ahead. The things you have been clinging to for security, the arrangements you thought you could not survive without, these do not need to come with you. Trust me to fill every empty space they leave behind. Think of the servant who heard my voice in the stillness of the night. He did not know it was me at first. He turned to the wrong voice. He ran to another. He kept misreading the call. But the moment he said, "Speak, I am listening," everything changed. That simple posture of availability was all I needed. I am not asking you for perfection today. I am asking for that same posture. Turn toward me. Let your spirit say with the full weight of your heart, "I am here and I am listening." Because when you do, what has felt silent will become clear, and what has felt far away will suddenly be closer than your very breath. I see the weariness in you and I do not dismiss it. You have stood firm through things that would have broken many. I watched you choose trust over bitterness when the bitterness would have been easy. I watched you rise again when staying down would have required so much less effort. That resilience is not something you manufactured. I placed it there. I have been sustaining you through every step, and not one of those steps has been wasted. Each one brought you to this precise moment, to this open door, to this conversation between your spirit and mine. What you are stepping into is not a reward for perfect behavior. It is not something you earned through endurance alone. It is a gift of grace, flowing from my love for you, which has never wavered and never will. I am not opening this door because you finally got everything right. I am opening it because I am faithful, because I am good, and because the time I appointed for your breakthrough has come. The miracles I have been preparing for you are not small. They are not neat little improvements that leave your life mostly the same. They are the kind of change that makes you look back and say, I cannot believe how different everything is now. That is the kind of future I am leading you toward. Step forward, my precious one. The ground on the other side is already prepared for your feet. There are seasons in a life when everything seems to be closing, when the path forward disappears into fog and the options narrow until the heart feels cornered. You have known that feeling. You have sat in it. But I want you to know that even in those closed-in moments, I was already working on the opening. I was already moving things into position. The fog was not my absence. It was my preparation, keeping certain things hidden until the perfect time for their unveiling. And now the time has come. The fog is lifting. What I was building for you in the unseen is about to become visible. What I was storing up for you is about to be released. The season of your miracle has begun, and I want you to cross this threshold with your whole heart, knowing that I walk beside you every step of the way. Say yes today. Say it with whatever faith you have, even if it is small, even if it trembles. A yes offered with trembling hands is still a yes, and I will honor it. Declare your amen if you believe these words are meant for you. Now I want to speak to you about what you must release before you walk through this door. Because there are things you have been carrying that cannot fit through the opening I have made. Not because I am harsh, not because I am withholding, but because those things were never meant to come into this new season with you. The freedom I am giving you requires your hands to be open, not clenched around the past. First, you must release the resentment. I know the names and the faces. I know exactly who wounded you, who walked away when you needed them most, who spoke words over you that had no right to be spoken. I know the weight of what was done, and I do not minimize it. But my beloved child, resentment is a chain. It does not bind the one who hurt you. It binds you. It keeps your heart anchored to a moment that is over, to a person who may have moved on without a second thought, while you remain locked in that pain like a room with no windows. I am not asking you to pretend the wound did not happen. I am asking you to hand it to me. Let me carry the account of what was done. Let me handle the justice. Your part is simply to release the grip, and when you do, you will feel something shift in your chest, a loosening, a lightening, the beginning of a freedom you had almost forgotten was possible. Second, release the guilt. You know what I mean. The mistakes you turn over in your mind in the quiet hours, the decisions that went wrong, the words said in anger that cannot be unsaid, the things left undone that mattered. I see all of it. And I tell you plainly, I already paid for all of it. Every error, every failure, every moment you are ashamed of, I carried it all. When you keep picking up what I already took from you, you are telling me, without meaning to, that what I did was not enough. But it was enough. It was complete. It was final. Leave it at the place where I took it from you, and do not go back to collect it. You were not made to carry it into this new season. Third, release the fear. Fear of failing again. Fear of hoping and being disappointed. Fear of what others will say when they see you step into something they cannot yet understand. Fear of the unknown territory ahead. Fear has been speaking to you in a very convincing voice, telling you that the risk is too great, that you do not have what it takes, that something will go wrong if you dare to believe. But fear is a liar, and it does not have authority over the path I have laid out for you. The only reason fear is this loud right now is because it knows what is on the other side of this threshold. It knows what awaits you. It is trying to stop you before you take the first step. Do not let it. My voice is louder than fear, and my word is more certain than any threat that darkness can whisper. Fourth, release the need for others to understand. Not everyone you love will celebrate this season with you. Some will look at what I am doing in your life and they will question it, reduce it, explain it away. Some will feel uncomfortable with your transformation because it reflects something back at them that they are not ready to face. Some will quietly distance themselves, and that will hurt. I know it will hurt, but I also know what I am preparing for you in terms of connection and community in this new chapter. The bonds that are forming around your future are strong ones, built on purpose, not just familiarity. Do not cling to what I am already releasing, and do not grieve too long over relationships that have fulfilled their season. New ones are coming, ones that will feed your spirit and lift your faith. What you do need to bring through this door, bring all of it. Bring your faith, however small it feels right now. A tiny, sincere faith is more than enough for me to work with. I have moved mountains with less. Bring your gratitude even before the full manifestation appears, because thankfulness opens dimensions of blessing that striving cannot reach. Bring your willingness to obey when I instruct you, even before the instruction makes sense, because obedience is the doorway inside the doorway. When I say go, go. When I say give, give. When I say wait, wait. Your obedience is not a burden I place on you. It is a partnership I invite you into. Every act of trust you offer me, I meet with 10,000 acts of faithfulness in return. There is something I must tell you that very few people truly understand about the miracles I bring. The blessing coming into your life is not meant to end with you. It is meant to flow through you. I am not positioning you for comfort and accumulation alone. I am positioning you to be a source, a living testimony that opens the eyes of others to what I can do. Every person who will see your life transformed, everyone who hears what I have brought you through, is a person who will dare to believe that their own miracle is possible. Your story is not just yours. It belongs to everyone whose faith will be awakened by it. So step into this new season not only for yourself, but for them, for those you love, for those you carry in prayer, for the people who do not yet know my name but who will come to know it because of what they see in you. Speak it aloud if you believe. I receive what you have prepared for me. My child, I want to talk to you now about what is truly coming. Not in vague terms, not in the language of distant possibility. I want you to feel the weight of what I am saying. The miracles I have prepared for you are not a single event. They are a chain. One door opens and behind it is another. One victory positions you for the next. One breakthrough clears the ground for a breakthrough even greater than itself. When I begin to move in a life, I do not stop at one expression of my faithfulness. I keep moving, keep building, keep adding what only I can add, until the life before you looks so different from the life you left behind that you can barely recognize the distance between the two. Think about this honestly. You have spent a long time imagining what your life could look like if things changed. You have held those pictures quietly in your heart, sometimes daring to let them surface, sometimes pushing them back down because hoping felt too risky. But I placed those desires there. Every sincere longing that reflects wholeness, peace, purpose, provision, meaningful connection, restoration. I wove those into the very fabric of who you are. They were not accidents. They were not wishful thinking born from weakness. They were seeds of a future I was always planning to grow. And now the growing is beginning. I want you to begin to expect this actively, with your whole spirit. There is a difference between hoping things will improve and expecting my word to be fulfilled exactly as I spoke it. Hope says perhaps. Expectation says it is coming and I am preparing to receive it. Begin to prepare. Begin to speak differently about your future, not with arrogance, but with the quiet certainty of someone who knows whose voice they have heard. Begin to make room. Begin to act as one who already knows the answer is yes. Because I am telling you right now, the answer is yes. My child, I am asking you to place a portion of what you have, something of real weight, upon the altar of this work, as gold laid on the scales of this calling. Let it be a seed sown into deep water, an offering set on stone, not held back in fear. This is proof that your trust rests in my hand to provide, and that your heart no longer clings to lack. What you release in faith does not leave your life. It moves ahead of you into the harvest I am preparing. The miracle doors before you are not only about what you receive, they are also about who you become on the other side of crossing them. Because when I take someone through a genuine transformation, I do not only change their circumstances, I change their thinking. I change the way they see themselves, the way they see the world, the way they see me. Patterns of thought that have kept you small for years. Beliefs that told you this was all there would ever be. Limits you accepted without realizing you had accepted them. All of this begins to fall away as you step forward. You will begin to see with different eyes. Problems that once felt like walls will begin to look like doorways. Situations that once felt like endings will begin to look like beginnings. That shift in perception is one of the most powerful gifts I give, and it is already starting within you right now, in this very moment. I need you to hear this clearly. My strength is not limited by your weakness. In fact, my power is most perfectly expressed in exactly the places where your own ability runs out. This is not a comfortable truth for those who prefer to stay in control, but it is a liberating one when you receive it. The moments when you feel most depleted, most uncertain, most incapable of finding a way forward, those are precisely the moments when my power has the most room to move. You do not have to arrive at this door with everything sorted. You do not have to have healed every wound and resolved every question before you are welcome to cross. Come as you are. Come with what you have. I already know exactly what I am working with, and I have accounted for every one of your limitations in the plan I have made. The king in an ancient account cried out when his forces were surrounded, when the enemy was greater than any human response he could muster. He said plainly, "We do not know what to do, but our eyes are fixed on you." And in that moment of complete honesty, complete surrender of control, I moved. The battle was decided in the unseen before a single step was taken in the visible. That same faithfulness that answered his cry is answering yours right now. You do not have to know what to do. You only have to know where to look. Fix your eyes on me. Let your spirit lean fully against mine, and let me handle what you cannot. There are things I am already setting in motion that you have not seen yet. Doors that will open without you having to force them. People whose paths I am already turning toward yours. Provision arriving from directions you would not think to look. I am the God who goes ahead of you, clearing the ground, unlocking the gates, making a way through places that looked impassable. Every promise I have spoken over your life is still standing. Not one has expired. Not one has been forgotten. And in this season, many of them are about to be fulfilled at once, in rapid succession, in a way that will leave no room for doubt about whose hand is behind it all. You were not made for a small life. You were not designed to survive from one difficulty to the next, with your spirit barely above the waterline. You were created for abundance of every kind, abundance of peace, of purpose, of joy, of meaning. And I am bringing you into that abundance now, not as a reward for good behavior, but as the expression of a love that has been constant and will remain constant long after anything else changes. This is who I am, and this is who I am being for you today. My beloved, let me now speak to you about your identity, because many of the struggles you have carried did not begin with circumstances. They began with a lie about who you are, a lie spoken by voices that had no authority to define you, but which you heard so many times in so many forms that eventually it lodged itself deep in your thinking and began to feel like the truth. You were told in one way or another that you were not enough, not capable enough, not worthy enough, not lovable enough, not strong enough. You were handed labels by people who did not know you, and some part of you accepted those labels and began to live inside their limits. I am breaking every one of those false definitions today. I am tearing them off you with my own hand. Because the truth of who you are was not determined by anyone who has ever spoken over you or about you. It was determined by me, the one who formed you, who breathed life into you, who called you by name before the world even knew you existed. And what I say about you is this: you are deeply valued. You are specifically chosen. You carry a purpose that no other person can fulfill. You are not a copy of anyone else. You are not a lesser version of someone I wished you would be. You are the exact version of you that I designed, with every quality and capacity and experience intentionally woven together for a purpose that is unfolding right now. When I look at you, I do not see your mistakes first. I do not see your failures, your regrets, your moments of weakness, the times you could not hold it together. I see the one I love. I see the one I have been patiently working with through every season. I see the one whose story is not finished, not by a long way. And I see what I have been building in you quietly, steadily, through all the years of struggle and growth and change. I see a person who is ready, more ready than they realize, to step into everything I prepared for them. You have sometimes tried to earn your place before me. You have strived to make yourself more acceptable, more worthy, more deserving of my attention and blessing. But there is nothing you can do to increase my love for you, and nothing you can fail to do that will diminish it. My love for you is not a response to your performance. It is the foundation on which everything else rests. It is constant. It is complete. It is not waiting for you to become more before it is fully given. It is already fully given. And resting in that truth, really resting in it, is what will free you to receive without striving, to trust without gripping, to move forward without the crushing fear of not measuring up. I see how you have served others, how you have given generously of your time, your strength, your patience, your wisdom, even when the giving cost you something you could not easily afford. You have poured yourself out for those around you, often without asking for anything in return, often carrying their needs quietly alongside your own. And now I am saying to you, it is your season to receive. The generosity you have extended is not lost. It is not unnoticed. What you have sown in faithfulness toward others, I am now releasing back toward you in a harvest you did not expect and cannot manufacture. Open your hands. Let it come. The transformation I am bringing does not only touch what you see, it touches the invisible things too. The places in you that felt numb are going to begin to feel again. The dreams you buried because you thought the ground for them was gone are going to begin to stir back to life. The hope you protected yourself from feeling because you feared another disappointment is going to rise up again. But this time it will have roots. It will have substance. It will not be the fragile hope that breaks under pressure. It will be the kind that holds even when the answer takes time, even when the road is longer than expected, even when there are unexpected turns in the path. My child, you are not starting from behind. The timing that has felt wrong to you, the waiting that has felt like loss, none of it was wasted, and none of it put you behind. I work all things together. Every thread, even the ones that looked like mistakes, even the ones that seemed to lead nowhere, they all belong to the same design. And when you see the finished picture, you will understand why every thread was necessary. Trust that I see the whole design from above, while you are still in the middle of it. And I am telling you that what I am making is beautiful. The joy that is coming to you is not a shallow happiness that depends on everything going right. It is a deep, settled gladness that flows from knowing you are held, known, loved, and purposeful. It is the kind that does not evaporate when difficulty comes, because it is not rooted in your circumstances. It is rooted in me, and I do not change. In your new season, you will know this joy not just as a concept, but as a daily reality. A quiet river running beneath everything, steady and sure. This is part of what is yours when you cross through the door I have opened. So stand up straighter right now, in this very moment. Whatever position you are in as you receive these words, let your spirit lift. You are not a person who is just trying to get by. You are a person who has been set apart for a purpose, who has been loved with an everlasting love, who is standing at the beginning of something remarkable. The chapter that is opening is one you will want to read, every page of it. Do not look away. If this word is landing in your spirit, declare it now. Lord, I trust you with everything I cannot yet see. My child, let me tell you what it looks like to walk in this new dimension. Because receiving the miracle is one thing, but learning to live inside of it is something else. And I want you to be prepared. When I bring you from one season into another, there is a period of adjustment. Your mind has grown accustomed to the old rhythms, the old patterns, the old way of measuring what is possible. And when things begin to shift, when the new begins to come in, there will be moments when part of you will want to question whether it is real, whether it can last, whether something must be wrong if things are actually going this well. In those moments, do not look for a way to explain away what I am doing. Do not let the voice of old skepticism talk you out of your miracle. Simply receive it. Say thank you. Give me the praise. Let the evidence of my goodness build in your life, and let that evidence become the foundation of an even deeper faith. Because the more you see me come through, the easier it becomes to trust me in the areas where you cannot yet see the outcome. Faith that has been tested and confirmed is a different quality of faith than faith that has never been stretched. You are building something strong in this season. There will also be moments when opposition comes. Do not be surprised by this. The enemy does not celebrate when someone steps into the fullness of what I have for them. He will attempt to interrupt, distract, and undermine. He will work through unexpected channels, sometimes through people who seem reasonable, sometimes through circumstances that seem to suddenly complicate things just when the path was becoming clear. But here is what I need you to understand. His opposition is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is a sign that something is going right. He does not waste his effort on lives that are not moving toward something significant. The fact that he resists means he knows what is on the other side of your breakthrough, and it terrifies him. Stand firm. Stay in my word. Keep your eyes on me. He cannot stop what I have decreed. One of the most important things I want to say to you in this hour is this. Your miracle is not only for you. I have said this before, but I want you to feel the weight of it now. Everything you have been through, every trial that shaped you, every loss that deepened you, every stretch of the desert that made you desperate for me, all of it has been forming something in you that is not just for your own benefit. It is for the people who will encounter you on the other side of this season. There are those who will look at your life and begin to believe that my promises are real. There are those who will hear your story and dare to hope for their own. There are those you carry in prayer, the ones whose faith has faltered, whose hearts have grown heavy, and when they see what I do for you, something in them will crack open. Be generous with what I give you. Your testimony is one of the most powerful things in the world. I want to speak now about faith and how it actually works, because many people believe that faith is about feeling certain. They think that if doubt is present, faith is absent. But that is not what faith is. Faith is a choice made in the presence of uncertainty. It is the decision to believe what I have spoken over the evidence of what you currently see. It is the act of saying, I do not yet see it clearly, but I trust the one who does. Abraham believed me when I called him to a land he could not see, when I promised him a son through a body that seemed past bearing. He believed against natural evidence, held to hope when hope itself seemed unreasonable, and that faith was counted for him as righteousness, not because he never doubted, not because the waiting was easy, but because he kept choosing to trust me anyway. That is the faith I am calling you into right now. Not the faith of someone who has all the answers. The faith of someone who knows the one who does, and who decides that is enough. In that kind of faith, remarkable things happen. Mountains that have been immovable begin to shift. Situations that have been locked for years begin to open. What was impossible by every human calculation becomes possible, because you are no longer operating only in the natural dimension. You are operating in a realm where my word carries more weight than any circumstance, and in that realm you have access to everything I have promised. Begin to speak as someone who already knows the outcome, not because you are pretending, but because you have heard from me, and my word is more reliable than anything the natural world can present. Speak health over your body. Speak provision over your household. Speak peace over the people you love. Speak purpose over your days. These are not empty words when they are grounded in my promises. They are declarations of what is already true in the unseen, calling it into the visible. This is how my kingdom works. It was always meant to work this way, and now you are beginning to understand it, not just as a theology, but as a lived reality. This is your new normal, and in this new normal, you will not walk alone. I am with you at every step, not in the distant, abstract sense of a deity who observes from a great remove. I am near to you, closer than the words you use to pray, closer than the breath in your chest. My presence is your constant companion, your guide when the path turns unexpectedly, your peace when the noise of life gets loud, your comfort when the journey is harder than you expected. You do not have to manage this new season by yourself. I am in it with you, fully, completely, every single day. My precious child, I want to speak now about what it means to protect what I give you. Because many who receive a miracle lose it. Not because I took it back, not because they failed some test, but because they did not know how to guard it. They allowed old patterns to creep back in. They slowly returned to the ways of thinking that belonged to the season before their breakthrough. They let the voices that had always diminished them begin to speak again. And they listened. And gradually the miracle began to look small, and the life I gave them began to feel ordinary again. I do not want that for you. I want the fullness I am releasing to be something that grows and multiplies in your hands, not something that dwindles. The first thing that protects what I give you is a life of gratitude. Not gratitude as a performance, not a list of daily acknowledgments you feel obligated to produce, but a genuine, heartfelt awareness of what I have done. When you live in real gratitude, you stay connected to the reality of my goodness. You see evidence of my hand in the ordinary moments, as well as the extraordinary ones. Gratitude keeps your perspective clear. It prevents the cynicism that creeps in when blessings begin to feel like they were always just the natural course of things. Remind yourself often of what this moment looked like before it changed. Let the contrast keep your heart open and your praise sincere. The second protection is obedience. Not reluctant compliance, not doing the minimum to stay in good standing, but the kind of obedience that comes from love, from genuinely wanting to walk in step with me. When I prompt you towards something, move toward it. When I draw your attention to something that needs to change, let it change. When I open a door you would not have chosen yourself, walk through it with trust. My instructions are not restrictions designed to limit your joy. They are the conditions in which your life functions as it was designed to. Obedience is your right soil. The third protection is staying connected to me. Not only in the moments of need, not only when the situation becomes too much to handle alone, but in the ordinary hours of ordinary days. Come to me because you love me. Seek my voice because you want to hear it, not only because you need something from it. When you read my word, read it to know me better, not only to extract the next instruction. When you pray, let it be a conversation with a friend who knows everything about you and loves you anyway, not a formal petition to a distant authority. The closer you stay to me, the stronger the flow of everything I have released into your life. The more you drift, the more you will feel the reduction in what I have opened. Stay close. It is where you were always meant to be. Now let me tell you about the people coming into your life in this new season. I want you to understand something about connection and community that will help you as this chapter unfolds. Not everyone from your previous season is designed to travel with you into this new one. Some of the closest relationships you have known were right for where you were. They provided what you needed at that time. But as you grow and shift, as your capacity expands and your purpose clarifies, not every existing relationship will naturally stretch to accommodate the new version of who you are becoming. Some will grow with you. Some people in your life have roots deep enough to hold through change and become even stronger in new soil. Hold those ones carefully. They are rare and valuable. But others will feel the distance that growth creates, and they will not always respond to it with grace. Some will be threatened by your transformation. Some will try to pull you back to the familiar version of you that was easier for them to be around. My child, you cannot let the discomfort of others become the ceiling of your development. Love them without letting their resistance determine your direction. Pray for them and keep moving toward what I've called you to. I am not asking you to be cold or dismissive. I am asking you to be clear about who you are and where you are going, and to be willing to hold on to that clarity even when it costs you something. In their place, I am bringing new connections. People who are already living in the kind of faith and purpose you are growing into. People who will challenge you to believe bigger, dream wider, trust deeper. People whose presence will feel like coming home because they are oriented toward the same horizon. These connections are already in motion. Some of them are almost here. And when they arrive, you will recognize them by the way your spirit responds, by the ease of authentic understanding, by the way they draw the best out of you rather than requiring you to diminish yourself to be accepted. Welcome them. They are part of the design. One more thing I want to say to you in this section about what I have stored for you. The scripture that says, I am able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you ask or think. I want you to hold that promise today, not as a piece of religious language, but as a literal description of my intention for you. I do not give in small measures. I do not bless halfway. When I open my hand toward a life, the blessing that flows out is not proportional to what that person deserves or can manage on their own. It is proportional to who I am, and I am limitless. So do not put a ceiling on what you dare to ask for. Do not reduce your faith to what seems achievable by human reckoning. Reach higher. Expect more, and watch me exceed even that. My beloved child, we have walked a long road together in this conversation, and I want to bring it to a place of rest. Not the rest of someone who has given up, but the rest of someone who has put down a heavy pack at the end of a long journey and knows that the place they have arrived is good. You deserve this rest. You have been moving and striving and holding on for so long. Let this be the moment when you exhale fully, all the way to the bottom of your breath, and let something new fill the space. I want to speak one more time about the idea that delays were a form of abandonment, because I know this lie has found its way into your spirit more than once. That long stretch when the prayer did not seem to be answered, when the situation did not change, when you kept believing and the evidence kept contradicting you. It felt like I had turned away. It felt like you were crying out into silence. But here is the truth I need you to carry with you going forward. My silence was never absence. My slowness was never indifference. Every moment of what you experienced as waiting was a moment I was actively at work, moving things in the unseen that had to be moved before the visible could shift. The roots had to go deeper before the fruit could come. The foundation had to be set before the building could rise. Think of the story of a man who lay sick for 38 years. 38 years is a long time, an entire generation. And yet when I came to him, I did not say, "You waited too long, your time has passed." I asked him, "Do you want to be made well?" And then I did it. Right there, immediately. No process, no stages, no partial healing that needed finishing later. I spoke, and it was done. That is who I am. I can undo in a moment what took years to become. I can restore in a single day what felt irretrievably lost. I can make new what seemed permanently broken. The length of your wait does not limit my ability to act. And when I act completely. This is why I need you to resist the temptation to calculate what is possible based on how much time has already passed. What seems overdue by human reckoning is simply in the perfect divine moment from my perspective. I see the end from the beginning. I know what is about to come, what is already in motion, what is even now crossing the horizon toward you. I am not surprised by your situation. I have never been caught off guard by any detail of your story. And I'm telling you with absolute confidence that what is coming is worth everything that went into the waiting. There are going to be moments in the days ahead when gratitude rises in you so fast and so full that you will not know what to do with it. When a provision arrives at exactly the right moment. When a word of encouragement comes from an unexpected direction, precisely when you needed it most. When a relationship begins to heal that you had quietly concluded was beyond repair. When your body does something your body was not expected to do. When an opportunity opens in an area that had been completely shut. In those moments, I want you to let yourself feel it. Let the gratitude be full. Let the wonder stay. Do not minimize it. Do not explain it away. Do not rush past it to the next thing. Let my faithfulness land in you and become a permanent part of how you see me and how you see the world. And when difficulty comes again, because life does not become free of challenge on this side of eternity, when a hard day arrives or a hard season, remember what you saw me do. Remember this moment. Remember the word you received, the turning that happened, the door that opened. Let the memory of my faithfulness be the anchor that holds when things get turbulent. This is why I encourage testimony, not as a religious exercise, but as a practical tool for keeping your faith rooted. What I did before, I can do again. What I promised in this season, I stand behind in every season. My character does not shift with the wind. My love does not depend on your circumstances being comfortable. It is always fully present, always fully toward you. My child, you are not at the end of your story. You are at one of its most significant chapters. What is written here will shape everything that comes after. The decisions you make in this season, the trust you choose to extend, the step of faith you take when it is still not entirely comfortable. These will be the moments you look back on as the turning points. Not the moments when everything was already clear, but the moments when you chose to believe before the clarity came. Those are the moments that build the kind of character and faith that cannot be taken away, the kind that carries you through whatever the future brings. So here is what I am asking of you as we close this time together. Do not leave this moment unchanged. Let something that was settled in the wrong direction become unsettled. Let something that was closed in your heart begin to open. Let the word I have spoken today take root in the deep soil of your spirit, not just in the surface of your thinking, but down where decisions are actually made, where the real you lives and moves and breathes. Water it by remembering it. Strengthen it by speaking it. Protect it by choosing each day to trust me more than you trust the loudest fear. I love you with a love that has no edge and no end. I am for you in every sense of that word, not passively rooting from a distance, but actively working on your behalf, in the seen and in the unseen, in the moments you feel my presence, and in the moments you do not. You are mine. I am yours. And together, there is nothing we cannot face, nothing we cannot overcome, nothing that will not ultimately serve the purpose I have intended for your one beautiful life. Say amen and receive it. Your new season begins right now.
We run on viewer support only. For exclusive member-only content, scan the QR or see the pinned comment. God bless you.